Everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone. I know that Commissioner Fournier is unable to join us today, but I would say good morning and to Commissioner Bell. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we will jump in as we always do with Adventist Health Tillamook and Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have 12 patients in the hospital today. Yesterday, we did 8 surgery cases. Ambulance crews did 4 911 transports, 1 transfer, 1 transport home. 100 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 24 more than yesterday. 268 discharge delays, which is 4 more than yesterday. Just want to remind everyone that on Thursday, the 23rd, we will be hosting an open house for the Tillamook Kidney Center to celebrate them being back and providing care in our community. It'll be from 1 o'clock till 2:30 in the afternoon. It'll be downstairs, actually in the dialysis area. They don't see patients on Thursday. So it'll be a great time to stop by, meet the staff and care team, engage with us, have some refreshments, and I promise the speaking will be short. And we'll get the ribbon cut, and you can come on in and check out dialysis. So that's, again, Thursday from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Unless you've got questions, that's all I've got for you this morning.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're all very excited that the dialysis center is open, and I look forward to being there and part of the official ribbon cutting, because there's just such a community celebration here. So for the hard work that you have done and the partnership with the nonprofit that's running that. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, not seeing any. We will go ahead and move on to the Coastal Caucus, and I will invite Representative Javity to kick us off this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. And you?
Doing great.
Excellent.
All right. This week is got some new news. If you've been watching the nightly news or your favorite internet news feed, you probably saw that the appeals court, Ninth Circuit Appeals Court, removed the temporary stay on troops from President Trump from calling up the National Guard and sending them to Portland. And there were 2 restraining orders. If you remember, they were both temporary. The Ninth Circuit Court has said that they lifted those, or they're expected to lift both of them today. That will give the President of the United States the authority to send in National Guard to Portland. So we're waiting to see how that plays out. Both the governor and the attorney general are working on a response. They're going to ask the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to rehear the entire case, which means all 12 justices will need to weigh in and decide on a ruling, not just an abbreviated lift of the temporary restraining orders that was done today and yesterday. So I'll be watching to see how that goes. There's not been any direction at this point from the governor or the attorney general that I'm aware of, but I'll be paying attention and trying to keep the community up to speed if I hear anything that is noteworthy. And the other thing you might have heard is that if, due to the government shutdown, in about 10 days, a little less than 10 days, there will not be any money for SNAP benefits. And so members of the community who depend on SNAP to help offset the cost of groceries and food will not have any benefits as of November 1st, unless the government shutdown comes to an end, in which case they'll authorize money to be given to the USDA, which will then flow to people who are eligible for SNAP benefits. What that means is there are about 5,000 people in Tillamook County, many of them seniors and children, who will not have benefits at the beginning of the month if that doesn't change. There's about 7,000 people in Clatsop County, and about another 7,000 over in Columbia County. So something we're definitely concerned about. Now, this is a program that's funded 100% by the federal government. So the state doesn't actually put any money into this bucket. The state is responsible for administering the program, which means you're making sure people qualify and answering questions and things of that nature. But there are not there's not money set aside for this. And so we are waiting for more guidance on what, if anything, the state can do. But additionally, food banks are already oversubscribed and don't have a lot of extra on hand, or at least not enough to meet the demand that will likely occur if the shutdown continues beyond November 1st. So my recommendation for now is people who can, if you're able to donate to food banks, great. That would definitely help. Also, if you know of a neighbor or family or friend who is on food stamps, check in on them. And if you are someone who receives SNAP benefits, then please follow ODHS, which is the state's agency for information about SNAP benefits, so that you can be aware of what resources might come online, if any, for next month. But hopefully by the end of the month, the shutdown will have ended and there will be benefits for November 1st. But I know that's going to cause some anxiety for people, and it is something that I know myself, and I'm sure Senator Weber, are aware of and looking into and trying to be prepared for. Other than that, this week, just several meetings throughout the week. I did a lot of talking yesterday, and we'll continue this week to talk about the shortfall in the state budget due to cuts coming from H.R. 1, the big, beautiful bill that will impact the budget. We're already at a deficit. One of the things you have to do in Oregon is balance the budget. And since we're short $400 million, we have a constitutional obligation to find $400 million to bring the balance back to zero. And so there are discussions right now about cuts being made in different agencies to different programs, but there's not $400 million possible in cuts. And so we're looking at ways to increase revenue, and some of that revolves around deductions and whatnot on tax returns. And so more of those conversations are happening. Nothing has really been proposed at this point. We're still waiting to see what the final number of cuts will be to programs and benefits so that we can decide what, if any, type of revenue changes we need to make. And we anticipate that over the next couple of years, those budget shortfalls will increase because the state's being asked to do more around SNAP benefits, more around Medicaid, and more around some other programs to administer them. It's going to cost additional money to do that, and so we think that budget hole will grow to over $1 billion. So we'll continue to look for ways to fund that in, and of course that means counties and cities will be impacted as the states, have this tendency to tell the counties and cities to do things and then not give them money to do it. I assume if there's less money going around, that might put more of the burden on our counties and cities, which is not what this, legislators or county commissioners or mayors like to see happen. So we'll be talking about those issues as well. Other than that, this week I've got some meetings throughout the week about housing. On Wednesday, I'll be at the ribbon cutting over at the hospital for the dialysis clinic. Excited to hear about that. And then down in Pacific City at the end of the week with the Doryman Heritage Project, learning about that and talking about cancer screenings with some healthcare officials and what we can do to make it so we can catch cancer even sooner. And that's my update for the week.
Thank you, Representative. Any questions for the representative?
Yes, good morning. Hey, I'm wondering if you could talk just a little bit more about the state budget shortfall, because I know it caught a lot of people by surprise. Wasn't that long ago that it seemed like there was a surplus, and now we're in dire straits. And I know there are multiple reasons, so I wonder if you can just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, sure. we did have a surplus. Every year we get, not every other year, but for the last several bienniums, so every other year we've brought in more revenue than we were able to spend, right? So the estimate every couple of years, the state economist tries to guess how much money will be collected over the 2-year period that the budget covers. And if we bring in more money, if the economy is doing better than the state economists thought, there'll be a surplus of dollars, and those dollars get returned to the taxpayers through the kicker. And so there has been more money coming in years past than what the state economists guessed. That changed this year. The state economist changed their estimates as a new state economist as well. And so we have, those guesses were made back in the beginning of the year. Last month or the month before, there was a revenue forecast, right? That's when they actually come and say, well, this is what we've collected, this is what we think we're going to collect now that we've got some more numbers. And we were about $1 billion short at that point of what we thought we were going to be, which indicates that less money was coming in than we thought. Add on top of that, the HR1, right? So the HR1 made some big changes, like I said earlier, to the critical programs like SNAP benefits and Medicaid. And not only did it cut those benefits and but it put some new requirements in place, like work requirements for SNAP benefits and Medicaid enrollees. It changed eligibility requirements. It changed how often you have to recertify that you're still eligible for those benefits. To do all of that, the states need to hire and have computer systems and IT updates in place to be able to meet the new requirements from the federal government in order to keep getting money from the federal government. To do that costs money, and that there's no choice. The states can't not comply, and so they have to now, kind of like an unfunded mandate, go out and find that money that they didn't plan originally in the budget before we had those rules. And so that's when we project out those costs, what it's going to cost to hire more people, what it will cost to update the IT system, what it will cost in labor hours, et cetera, that starts to grow that deficit. So the initial hit to the budget based on those changes was $1 billion. So we went from about a $500 million surplus, which we call the ending fund balance, which just means, hey, we got this little bit of extra cash on hand in case there's a problem and something we didn't foresee. Now we're at a $400 million deficit that we have to fix because of these, and we expect that will grow because we have to meet the new requirements that are part of HR1. And some of that includes two things like there will be no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. There will be significant tax savings for businesses through things like advanced depreciation, Section 179, a whole bunch of tax benefits for small and big businesses, opportunity zones, lots of things that because the way Oregon does its taxes, and generally Oregon gives the same deductions that the federal government allows, that means we anticipate less revenue will be coming in because of those tax savings. Some of them won't really help the lowest people with the least income. They'll help people a little higher on the income level. And so we have a lack of income coming in because we can not tax the same income the way we were before, plus the additional administrative costs coming from HR1. So that's how we found ourselves in a deficit that's actually growing, not getting better at this point.
Thank you. That is very helpful. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sorry, it's a kind of a complicated talk to do over the radio, but I'll try to on Facebook and other social media and my newsletter to Substack kind of start to boil it down into more understandable chunks on what's happening and why. But I did put up some information about the cut to food stamps or potential cut of food stamps at the end of the month, and I'll continue to put some info up there that might help.
Thank you. Rip.
And speaking of your newsletter, I just want to say that I'm very much enjoying it, and particularly the latest one that you wrote about immigration. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing the information that you did and keeping us informed. So we will go ahead and move on to Senator Weber. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Lovely day out there, isn't it?
Boy, it is. Calm before the storm.
Exactly. So I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. I managed happily to get to Minnesota to visit with my sister and her family. I had planned to go to Canada also to see my brother that's dying, but I wasn't able to do that. So I've just taken a little bit of a break from my political responsibilities. On the other hand, I do continue to keep busy. I really want to thank the city of Bay City for hosting the COPAC and the Northwest Act meetings before I left. It was so inspiring to see so many people who are dedicated to looking at our financial well-being with business, and then to get the really comprehensive report from ODOT on things that are going forward. We may have contentious discussions concerning it, but the folks at ODOT are working very hard to make sure that our highways are maintained. I also wanted to give a shout out to our community because, you know, we have such a generous spirit in this community of people helping people, people raising money to help people. And since I was gone, I was not able to attend the opening of the tiny houses over on First Street, but I'm going to go and look at them and see how that is all working out. But I think it's so important that we are people taking care of people. Today, we are going to be hosting in Tillamook a child care caucus visit. There are legislators that are coming to town to talk specifically about this. You know, we have been in the past a child care desert, and we have been working extremely hard to make sure that we have the care, the programs and the licensure for our care facilities. And so there's going to be a group of people in town today to discuss that and look at what we're doing in Tillamook, and I'm very happy to be able to participate in that. When we're talking about funds, which Rep. Javity did, and how we spend them, tomorrow I'll be spending the day in Salem working on the Joint Public Education Appropriations Committee and hearing. And so we will be looking seriously at what is going to happen in the state concerning education appropriations, because we do have some challenges coming forward. When I got back, I was able to participate in Washington County in a domestic violence summit and panel discussion. And I am really encouraged by what Washington County is doing, especially with their Peace Center, which will be opening up at the beginning of the year officially, that looks at what is happening in domestic violence and creating a place where many of the needs of the folks who are experiencing this can get wraparound services, people caring for them. And from what I'm seeing, I think it is a model that each county could, in their own way, develop and adopt, especially for folks that are experiencing domestic violence. I'm sure that you all got your property tax statement, and even though I'm not in county government, I have gotten calls and emails from people who are asking, and maybe you as county officials can address this in your reports, is why the taxes went up, but the value went down. And that's what I'm hearing from people across the board. And so maybe if you could explain some of that and how those taxes are arrived at, it would be helpful to people opening up that statement this week. I want to again acknowledge the Kidney Center official opening. I am so happy that we are able to now be able to provide that within our community again, so we don't have to worry about people traveling during the winter and inclement weather for their health. I'm also working especially hard on bill concepts. I have one bill that I'm going forward with, and as you know, because I've said it before, we have 2 bills in the short session coming up. And so I am looking at other options for my second piece of legislation. And when I have those tied down, I'll let you know what they are. I feel that what I need to do is going to be reflective of my whole area and all of my constituents and what they want. So with that, have a great day. Any questions?
Thank you, Senator. Any questions for the senator?
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say welcome back. It's lovely to have your voice back on this show. We missed you, and I'm glad you had a great vacation. Well deserved.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, we do not have Cassandra with us from our elected assessor who could answer in full and complete detail your questions about the taxes. So I will invite her to join us perhaps next week and to give a more complete answer. I'll give a quick answer that comes from conversations I've had with Cassandra. When people get their tax statement, there are a number of things on it that impact how much you are paying. So if you're looking at your tax bill and saying, I thought it could only go up 3%, but it goes up more than that, I encourage you to look in that upper right-hand sort of quadrant of your tax bill, and it will show you all of the different taxes that are being applied to your property, because we have a base tax rate of, I believe it's $1.49 per thousand. That's what the county charges. And then that rate, then there are other bonds and levies and special districts and pieces that apply to your tax bill depending on where you live. So everybody's seeing a little bit of impact this year because, as you remember, we passed the radio bond last year. So that is now showing up on tax bills this year. So that's one piece that's happening. So again, look in that upper right corner and see what exactly is in your bill, what different things you are paying for beyond your standard tax rate. So that's what we're taking a look at. In terms of value, I'm gonna let Cassandra answer that one next week, because that goes beyond my full my knowledge, my depth of knowledge.
And I will tell you, just to interject there, and I apologize for this, they are looking at that upper right-hand corner, and they are, they have some questions. And I think that some of those questions can be fielded to the city of Tillamook also because of things like urban renewal. And there are people who don't understand some of these things that are levied against them that are making their lives better, but do impact the bottom line.
Absolutely. And I would encourage people, if you have questions on your tax bill, you can reach out to the assessor's office and ask your questions. This is a public service that, we provide in terms of being able to answer questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to the assessor's office if you have questions when you come in to pay your taxes, which many people do. It's always interesting to me how many people still prefer to come in and hand us a check. You can ask questions as you're going through that process, or again, just come in and ask questions. So it should be transparent, it should be understandable, but I will invite Cassandra to come and speak to us next week here on the radio. And I know that she was intending to speak to the commissioners in our regular meeting on an upcoming Wednesday as well. And we'll get that recorded so then people could find it as well online if they'd like. So we'll get some more information out shortly on that. So good question, Senator. Thank you.
Commissioner,
Yes, please.
Commissioner, if I can jump in for a second.
Yes, please.
This raises the really important point that our taxing system in Oregon is very confusing. And in the reason, in short, is that in the 1980s, Oregon voters passed ballot measure 5, which capped property taxes where they were at the time. Subsequent to that, they passed ballot measure 50 that adjusted that slightly. But that means that our property taxes have been $1.49 for since the 1980s. And so other places, other states will raise their property taxes as the need appears. And that was happening in Oregon too rapidly, some people felt, and so they capped it. So other places raise their property taxes when they need more revenue, but we can't do that. So we've ended up with this system where we have so many special districts and we have so many bonds and levies to pay for the things we need to pay for because we can't pay for them by raising property taxes. So it is genuinely confusing, no doubt about it. And then you factor in there's assessed property value compared to real market value, et cetera. So it's definitely confusing. And I'll be glad to listen to Cassandra talk about it next week also.
Perfect. Thank you. It's a very timely conversation. Okay, anything else for the senator? Senator, I do actually have a quick follow-up on your childcare conversation. Is that including folks in Tillamook County? And may I ask who in Tillamook County is going to be a part of that conversation?
The ESD is going to be a part of that conversation. It's from 9 until 11:30 today, and it's on the 3rd Street childcare. What is the number name of that? There are several people coming to town.
Okay, so the Child Care Resource and
to
Referral is a
participate.
part of that with Eva Manderson
Yes.
and her team.
Yes, that's what I was
Okay.
just going to say.
Awesome, awesome,
Eva Manderson.
perfect.
Yes, it has been scheduled for quite some time, and you know it was a special concern of Rep. Wen, who recently passed away, and so there was questions about whether it was going to happen or not, but it definitely is carrying forward with a very important aspect of our economic survival.
Yeah, thank you for that. It is definitely one of those huge challenges in our business environment. When families can't find childcare, it's really hard to work full time. So it's just a crucial conversation. Okay, thank you. Appreciate your time today, and we will continue through our agenda by going on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Camille, good morning.
Good morning. First, we want to recognize all the medical assistants in our county, especially those who work for us. We're grateful for the skilled and compassionate care that they provide for our patients. They really are a vital member of our healthcare team. So if you see a medical assistant this week, please be sure to say thank you and recognize them for their outstanding care they provide. And we just had a reminder that our community walk-in vaccine clinic is open every Monday and Wednesday at our Main Street Clinic location at 800 Main Avenue, Suite A here in Tillamook. The vaccine clinics have the flu shot and the updated mRNA COVID-19 booster available, as well as the pneumonia vaccine for those 65 years and older. The vaccine clinic is held through November 24th on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays are 1 to 6 p.m. and Wednesdays are from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Vaccines are also available at your local area pharmacies. And if you have any questions about any vaccine, we encourage you to speak with your primary healthcare provider. And that is all we had today.
All right, thank you. I'm going to circle back really quickly to the previous conversation we had on taxes. Cassandra emailed and said that she can definitely join us on the radio next week or something around that time. But she also will be doing a radio interview on KTIL at 9:30 on the 28th. So next week, on the 28th at 9:30, she'll be doing a radio interview on KTIL and talking about taxes. So if you want to get a really in-depth listen, since that's a half an hour program, you will be able to get, your questions probably all answered through what they'll talk about there. But we'll also have her join this call for an abbreviated version. But just wanted to let everybody know she's working on getting that information out there. Okay, thank you, Camille. And we do not have with us the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy today. Gail's taking some well-deserved rest after the opening of that amazing building. But we'll move on to Tillamook Family Counseling.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good.
Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center. You can reach us for information about agency services, appointments, and any other agency information by calling 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. I want to just briefly say that after a period of doing a search and interview process, the Tillamook Family Counseling Center's board has, in response to my retirement as of December 31st of this year, has named Amanda Bunger as the next executive director of Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Amanda will be coming on board as executive director following my final day in an official capacity, but actually she will actually be beginning her tenure as working with me. We'll start on November 17th, and we'll work together to make this as smooth a transition as possible. Amanda brings a lot of professional experience. She has been the executive director of an agency in Southern Oregon. Actually, it was Klamath County Mental Health, and also has worked with a number of other Oregon-based behavioral health provider agencies. And just wanted to share that information now. There's a press release is probably going out right within hours, but I wanted to share that information. I had shared that information with the Board of County Commissioners earlier, and I wanted to just take a few minutes and mention it now. And that is the extent of my report for today, and I'll take questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. My question for you is, how many years have you been the director at Tillamook Family Counseling Center?
I have been here since my first day on the job was October 9th, 2000.
2000.
2000, wow. Yes. It is, wow. So it has been 25 years, just a little over 25. So
that's amazing. That is amazing, yeah. Frank. What a career of service to our community. I'm sure we'll talk more as your retirement approaches, but I'll just use this opportunity to thank you for those 25 years of service to our community. That is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. You're going to tell us about this atmospheric river and whether it's going to hit us or not. I want to guarantee today.
You know what? If we stick our head in the sand and ignore it, maybe it'll just go away. But yes, as she said, that we are looking at a definite change in our weather this weekend. We're looking at the famous atmospheric river will be coming in Friday and Saturday. They're predicting around 2 to 3 inches of rain here on the coast, but the advantage is that our rivers are way, 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 way low. And so even that amount of water over the weekend is not going to really create any flooding hazards at this time, because like I say, the rivers are so low that they can definitely handle that kind of water. The other thing they're looking at is some breezy weather coming in with that. They're predicting around 45 to 50 mile an hour gusts through the weekend. So you may want to tie your small dogs down and your garbage can, and just be prepared that we're going to be starting those types of weather events now coming up through this winter. And on another note, the county had our Great Oregon Shakeout last Thursday. It was, I think, it was a great opportunity for everyone in the county to practice their shakeout routine, and also the evacuation for the impending tsunami. We had great participation throughout the whole county. Don't have a lot of nitty gritties on that. We're at our next DC4 meeting this Thursday, where all the preparedness groups get together. We will be going over the event, critiquing what went well, what didn't go well, and get some numbers of participants that we had countywide. So we'll be able to give a little bit more information on that at next Tuesday's phone call. The other thing that happened this week was we had our annual winter preparedness meeting, and it was sponsored again by the Tillamook Bay Flood Improvement District. The Emergency Communications Center was gracious enough to give us the use of their conference center. And of course, Tillamook PUD did bring in some lunch. It was a little late, but it came. And so a lot of the individuals had already left, but we want to definitely thank them for their efforts that way too. And for those who weren't able to make that meeting, Jane Scott Video Productions was there, and she taped the entire presentation. And that video will be available on her webpage shortly. She just needs to finish up the editing and do a few more tweaks on it, and that will be available on her webpage. And so I encourage anybody that did not make that meeting to catch that video. There was a lot of great web pages that Tom with the National Weather Service gave to us, and those are all on the slides that he presented, and those will be within the video, so you'll be able to pull those off and be able to bookmark those and do your own checking for weather predictions for this winter. Like I say, he did give a very good presentation about the expected winter weather that we're going to have here on the coast. And of course, it's all predictions and it's long term. And it looks like bottom line is what I got out of was it looks like we'll have probably about the same type of winters we did last year. But there's always that possibility that we could end up with more moisture and colder weather. And he stressed the importance is to make sure that we pay attention to those 14-day forecasts that come out from the Weather Service throughout the winter, because that'll really help us understand and have a better prediction of what types of weather we're going to be having. So, after he gave his presentation, we had a great little presentation by Tilda Jones about the work that they've been doing with the Flood Improvement District. It was a Hadley project that she went over and kind of gave a history of what they did and how they accomplished that. And again, that's all going to be in that video that Jane Scott captured. So again, definitely do that, because she gave a great presentation on what was going on. And after that, we had two individuals from the Office of Resiliency and Emergency Management. They're part of the Department of Human Services. It was Jeff Gilbert and Marlene Munden. They gave a presentation on how their office assists our county during emergencies. And mainly it's with mass care and sheltering is where they help out, and they're my go-to people to help us in those types of situations. And again, Commissioner Mary Faith Bell was there, so she was able to give us some her thoughts right to begin with and at the end. And so we really appreciated having the commissioner there. So, and it was great attendance. I mean, we had both our ports were there. We had, of course, the Tillamook PUD. We had 2 school districts there, Tillamook City, most of our preparedness groups, Sheriff's Office, Manzanita Emergency Manager, Emergency Communications District, and of course, our own infamous Chris Lady with the Tillamook County Public Works, who keeps our roads ice-free and very drivable through our winters. And of course, we had the fairgrounds there, which was great because that is one of our main evacuation areas. So seeing Cammie there was great to have her there. We had our 2 newspapers there, the Tillamook County Pioneer and the Headlight Herald were both there. So it was well attended, and I think it was another great opportunity for everyone to just kind of get together and talk and talk about the different ways they're being prepared for the winter. And listening to everybody there, I feel like this county is in great position again for this winter. Everybody is really working hard to get prepared and getting everything in order and in line for the winter to come. And it was great to see that how we can all come together and work as a team here in the county to make sure that any types of disasters or inclement weather that we have is very much minimized, and that we definitely do take care of each other here in our county. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner Scar.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was sorry to miss that meeting, but we'll check out that recording. And just for everyone to spend the time. We're going to have our first storm of the season. It's a great time to just make sure you're ready. We did that at our house yesterday. We got, gasoline for the generator and made sure that, all the outside stuff was put away or tied down. And really is we have a nice sunny day here to prepare for what's to come. So appreciate that. Okay, we will move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, please kick us off.
Thank you. I appreciate the urging for folks to take this opportunity to check your winter preparedness, because we all know that we have frequent power outages thanks to the excellent work of PUD. They don't last very long, but we have them in some neighborhoods more than others. So this is the perfect time to do as Commissioner Scar said, make sure your generators are working, you have gas for them, etc. I make sure I have awesome headlamps that I totally love, but they're rechargeable. So if they're not charged when the power goes out, I'm out of luck. So I'm charging up my headlamps, and I have rechargeable lanterns, and making sure that I have water, and because I have a well and the pump is electric, and all the things, including specific things to me like ground coffee, because nothing makes me madder than the power goes out and all I have are coffee beans, which I have tried to grind with a hammer and it doesn't work very well. So just take a few minutes, take a little time to do your inventory, make sure you have whatever you need, if it's batteries or whatever, you have it and it's ready. And thanks to Randy for the outstanding winter preparedness meeting yesterday. It really was terrific. Thanks to everyone who attended. It was a great turnout, and the organizations and volunteers in our county were very, very well represented. And I thought it was terrific. We had the visiting guests from Oregon Office of Resilience and Emergency Management talking to the group about how they can help us and what resources they can bring, which was really interesting. I knew about some of them, but not all of them. So I was very glad to learn that. And they also talked about, as Representative Javity did, they talked about the potential cutoff of Oregon Trail Card funding if the government shutdown continues, because the Oregon Office of Resilience and Emergency Management is under the umbrella of Oregon Human Services Department, and so they share that information. And so the Orem folks were talking to us about being aware of hunger in our community, and that there's several levels, several layers of this, in that the eligibility, the new federal cuts to Oregon Trail Card funding will make, or more stringent eligibility requirements that not everybody can meet, will cause a lot of people who receive Oregon Trail cards now to not receive them. And so that's a whole layer of people who, it's called supplemental assistance, but really for very poor people, it's often their only food budget. So there are a lot of people already who are not going to have money for food. And then add on to that the federal government also cut funding to food banks. So that's very serious, because the people who are losing their Oregon Trail Card benefits won't necessarily be able to just go to the food bank and make up the difference, because the food bank will have less to offer. And so that's a desperate situation. And on top of that, if the federal government shutdown continues to November 1st, no one will get SNAP benefits at all. So that will cause a hunger crisis in our community. And it's really important for us to be thinking about this in the short term and in the long term about, for folks who care about hunger, and I know a lot of people do, because a lot of people have talked to me about it, we're going to have to step up. It's not, I don't know that private citizens will be able to fill the gap, but we're being called to now. We need to, if you care about hunger, we need to donate to food banks. That could be the Oregon Food Bank. It could be local food banks. There are several in our communities. And it could be to churches. There are local churches that provide food to people. Either they distribute food to people or they provide meals. Like, find the places where people will be able to go when they're hungry, and please contribute. And additionally, I wanted to talk about October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the Tides of Change, which is Tillamook County's domestic violence response program, is having their annual Soup Bowl fundraiser event. I can't remember which one this is. It might be 12. It's been going on for a long time, but there was a gap in the COVID years. So this is the second year it's been back. And it'll be this Saturday, October 25th, from 5 to 7 at Pacific Restaurant. Because of the gap, not everybody knows about it. And there was a time when the community went every single year and it was a tradition, but then there was a gap. And so there's a gap in knowledge. So I just want to let people know who may be new to the community or haven't heard of this before that it's the biggest annual fundraising event for Tides of Change, which provides assistance to people who have suffered domestic violence or sexual assault. It's called the Soup Bowl fundraiser because local potters build throughout the year. They create and donate beautiful hand-thrown pottery bowls, and then restaurants throughout the county donate delicious soups and breads and desserts. And all those soups and breads and desserts are served at Pacific Restaurant. And people can buy the bowl, they can use their brand new bowl, or they can use smaller restaurant bowls like a soup sampler. And there will be at least a dozen varieties of delicious soups from different restaurants, a variety of desserts, and delicious artisan bread from Wolf Moon Bakery. And it's a taste treat. It's good for everybody. It's one of those win-win-win situations where you have a good time, you have good food, you go home with some beautiful art and feel good about your contribution. So those tickets are available online or at the door, and I hope I'll see you there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Food stamps are a really important supportive benefit for so many people in our community. Our seniors, those with disabilities, and those with low incomes. So let's really hope that the government figures this out before those are cut off and people are put in that very dire situation that you talked about. I did just take a quick peek at the Oregon Food Bank website. If you go to Oregon Food Bank Tillamook, you will pull up the page for the Tillamook County Regional Food Bank. And the way our system works in Tillamook County is that our pantries and our meal sites that are spread throughout the county all are part of the Oregon Food Bank network, and they get food through the Regional Food Bank. So if you find yourself thinking, I don't know where to donate, or I want to get food to all of the county, the Oregon Food Bank is a great way to do that. And if you make your donation on the Tillamook page of their website, it only goes to Tillamook, because I know people have a concern sometimes that if you donate to something that's statewide, like the Oregon Food Bank, that it might not get to our community. It will. It is guaranteed to go to our community if you donate through the link for Tillamook, or if you write Tillamook on your check, it will go to our community. You can also, if you are looking for the food bank nearest you because you prefer to donate in your own community, there is a where it says find support on the page, there's a place where you can enter the zip code where you are, and it will tell you about all of the food programs in your area. So additionally, if you are in need of food, this will tell you where you can get food in your zip code. So please do use the Oregon Food Bank website if you're looking for ways to participate in supporting folks who may really have an extra struggle with hunger in the month of November. Okay, so couple of different things for me. I had the opportunity to attend the Pelican Brewing Rockaway location opening, which was super fun. That's their 5th location, so really great homegrown business, if you will, started here in Pacific City and has really, expanded here in our coastal community. So it was fun to go up there and check out their menu and enjoy their new space. Yesterday, I spent the day in Portland at the Columbia Pacific CCO board meeting, which is one of the boards I sit on. The Columbia Pacific CCO is the organization that oversees the Oregon Health Plan for Columbia, Clatsop, and Tillamook counties. And as we are sort of looking at what will happen with SNAP and the cuts to food benefits for people simultaneously, we are looking at what will happen to Medicaid and the cuts that are in HR 1, the big bill from the federal government. We are expecting to have very significant Medicaid cuts. They will start to take place in 27, with the bulk of them hitting in 28. And part of what is going to, they're expecting to use as a way to get people off of Medicaid is they're going to make people redetermine their eligibility every 6 months, which is a very cumbersome and intensive process. So Representative Javity talked a little bit this morning about some of the costs that are coming to the states as the federal government makes cuts. This is one of them. So the state is going to have to develop a more robust system to verify people's eligibility every 6 months, which is going to take new technologies and staff time to do that. And some of that will undoubtedly be pushed down to us at the local communities, whether it is through our healthcare providers for verifying the Medicaid work, or whether it's through our community partners such as CARE and Tides of Change and others that see folks on a regular basis to try to help them get qualified and stay qualified. And it's going to be a heavy lift for our communities. And so as we were sitting in our board meeting for the Oregon Health Plan, it was trying to figure out how do we begin to plan now for the inevitability of 27 to make sure that we are doing our best to make sure that people who qualify for the program stay on the program, because it will be a heavy administrative lift. So that was my yesterday and why I missed the winter preparedness meeting. A couple other things that are going on. Coffin Butte landfill is in Benton County. So you may wonder why I would talk about a Benton County landfill, but I don't know if any of you ever think about where our trash ultimately ends up, but I'm going to tell you, it's in Benton County at the Coffin Butte landfill. And that's where it's gone for as long as I know. What's happening right now in Benton County is that the company that runs that landfill has asked to do an expansion to the landfill, which would give us all about another probably 5 years of capacity for garbage. If Benton County determines that the landfill cannot expand, we are looking at something closer to 18 months worth of trash capacity at Coffin Butte. So it's an important thing for us. It's important, and the commissioners have been keeping an eye on it. They have a land use hearing in front of their board of commissioners tomorrow night. And so spent a little time yesterday as well preparing some public comments that I sent in for that land use hearing, because it is important to us. And I'm pleased to say the company had done some work to make sure they had provided all the additional information that was needed to show that in fact they were operating completely legally and inside the land use requirements. So we will hope that the review by the commissioners finds that information to be true and factual, and that they are able to do the expansion at Coffin Butte. So just know that this is probably an early conversation with you as the community to have some awareness about our garbage, because even if they get their expansion, 5 years will go very quickly. And we will be looking at where our garbage can go once the Coffin Butte landfill is in fact full. So just kind of a heads up on that one. Two other things. We had a land use hearing scheduled for Wednesday this week, tomorrow night. That was to hear the middle housing code updates for Oceanside. We have had to reschedule that meeting. It will now be on the 29th instead of the 22nd. So apologize to everyone who is preparing to join us tomorrow night, but want to make sure you all know what will happen is we will open the land use hearing. We will agree to continue it to the 29th, most likely. And then we will have the full hearing on the 29th. So apologize for the inconvenience. We just had a conflict come up with one of us as commissioners, and this is a really important meeting that we all want to be present in person for. So just a heads up, if you were planning on being at our hearing tomorrow night, we are intending to move it to the 29th. And then the last thing I want to highlight is you've heard us talking about deflection in relation to drug use, and what happened with Measure 110 with the legalization of various drugs really led to a proliferation, it felt like in Oregon, of those drugs on our streets. And when the legislature came back together to say, what can we do to fix that? They passed House Bill 4002, and that was 2 years ago now, I believe. And a part of that was they funded what's called a deflection program. And deflection is an opportunity for people to get into treatment easily. It is an opportunity to deflect them from the criminal justice system. So we have 2 community meetings coming up this week for people to learn more about this particular approach and learn more about what we will be doing in Tillamook County with this approach. We have 2 experts that have been providing us technical assistance who have started these programs in various places across the nation, and they have been doing a great job of supporting us. They will be in our community to provide some technical assistance to the deflection team, but also to hold a community meeting so that anybody who's interested can come and learn more about what we mean when we say deflection. Because what I'll tell you, there are 6 pathways to deflection. A lot of times people think only of a criminal pathway, and there's pathways that have nothing to do with criminal justice, which is great. It's just really making it easy for people to self-refer and get the treatment and assistance they need. So that meeting is going to be on October 23rd, this Thursday, from 5:30 to 6:30 at the library. And this is open to anyone in the public to come and just learn more about the program that we will be starting. So just wanted to make sure that was on people's radar. Okay, I will wrap up my report with that, and we'll move on to the city of Manzanita. Good morning, Mayor Stock.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar and everyone else. Thank you for everybody for being here this morning. As I often find, I have learned a lot on this phone call this morning, so I appreciate the chance to get so many updates at the state, county, and the very local level. So thank you to everyone who commits the time every week to do that. I just have a few things. One, I'd like to echo the concerns about food safety and food security for people in our communities. And I know that the North County Food Bank and also the Nehalem Bay Community Services, who run a pantry that's been located for many years in the Methodist Church off the 101 in Nehalem, the leadership groups and both of those organizations are quite concerned and doing the best they can to prepare and also to reach out to let people know how they can contribute. There's a lot going on there, and I'm glad that was highlighted this morning, and I hope we'll all be able to continue to give updates on that in the next several months in particular. Just one other thing from me, I'm very happy to be able to say that we are doing our actual kickoff now, doing something physical on the ground with our Classic Street Connection project. I got a note from our Public Works Director this morning, just confirming that we will be shutting parts of that road starting November 3rd. That'll be the Classic Street between Dorcas Lane and Highlands Drive. And for those of you who don't know all the ins and outs of the street names here in Manzanita, but do kind of come up here or through here on a regular basis, everything will be well marked and well signed, and there will be ways to get from point A to point B. It just may not be your usual route for a little while. This is part of an ongoing capital improvement program. And this, we've talked about this, or I've spoken about this many times over the last year. It really began with a $2.7 million grant we received from the state in order to improve our capacity to deliver water to our urban growth boundary area, and also in particular a 60-unit housing, apartment housing complex that's under construction now that will be for affordable housing. In addition, we get to redo the road, which has been the #1 priority on the capital improvement list for roads for quite a while, and we'll be adding a specific pedestrian and bike access at the same time, as well as taking care of the water that flows off during storms. So it's a lot of things bundled into one package. And as I have also said before, in a large city, this would not be such a big deal, but it's a big deal for us, a big project. And we've had to put a lot of work into the planning and preparation, and also getting ready for or redoing some plans when we were hit with a much higher number than we could accommodate for the project. So a lot of hard work has gone into it, and we appreciate everyone's patience with a little bit of working around things while the road is closed and or partially closed. So there'll be information about that on our city's website. And yeah, it'll be exciting. It'll be yet another ribbon cutting. I don't have a date for it yet, but we'll be doing that again in our area, which has been, we've had a number of really lovely occasions for that lately in the county, and it's great to see. And that's it from Manzanita. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. We have had some lovely ribbon cuttings and more to come, so that's fantastic. Okay, moving on to the city of Rockaway Beach. Mayor McNeely, good morning.
Good morning, Tillamook County. A handful of items for this morning. The North Pacific Street project remains on schedule. The new water main was installed from the tie-in at 5th to 7th Street. Water samples were submitted to Portland for testing. Sewer improvements are completed from South 3rd to South 4th Street. The remaining sewer work involves water main crossings that require inspection when separation is less than 18 inches, and most lateral crossings are within this range. If leaks are identified, the affected sections are being replaced joint to joint. Our leak detection project is running ahead of schedule, with Dan's leak detection expected to finish on Wednesday, October 22nd. We did have an after-hours water leak on Geneva and Sunset, which was repaired, followed by the required water sample being sent to Portland. Our first quarter financial report for fiscal year 25-26 shows the city remains in a strong overall position. Our transient room tax fund showing a 9% year-over-year increase for revenue generated in April through June of 2025, suggesting tourism remains strong. The full financial report is available on our website. The fire department acquired a new lifting device, the Infa Lift 500. The device is designed to lift someone who falls, is not injured, but cannot get up on their own. The device can lift a 500-pound patient and will be helpful in reducing back injury and strain from lifting patients. Let's see, the double no-pass north of Rockaway to North 7th was completed by Oregon Department of Transportation striping team. 2 thumbs up to ODOT for responding to our residents' request. And then a little fun thing, I know lots of communities and organizations are having trunk or treats. Rockaway Beach's trunk or treat is just around the corner. Please set your calendar for next Saturday, October 25th, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Anchor Street parking lot. It'll be rain or shine. Looks like it's going to be rain. And then just a shout out to our fire department and business association for sponsoring this event. With that, back to you, Commissioner.
All right, thank you. Okay, I did not see Bay City today. They are typically with us. But I don't think I missed anyone, so we will go ahead and go on to the city of Tillamook.
Good morning, everyone. We'll try to be quick because we know we're running long. City Council did vacate our Ward 5 City Council seat last night at our City Council meeting due to the resignation of Councilmember Torres. Again, we thank him for his service and the efforts that he made on behalf of the city. Ward 5 is borders Evergreen Street and is basically south of 8th Street on east to west of the city. So if you live in those areas and would like to come and sit on our city council, we'd love to have you. You can find an application at our city hall. We also still have our Ward 2 position open, which covers 101 and going east to west from Pacific to Elm, pretty much the length of the city. So we definitely have need for people to volunteer to serve on our city council, and we welcome all applicants. Lastly, we have some road closures for some projects that are coming up. So October 23rd and 24th, 5th Street will be closed between Grove and Stillwell. On the 27th and 28th, 7th Street will be closed between Madrona and Nestucca. And on the 29th and 30th, 2nd Street will be closed between Douglas and Elm. So that is our report from Tillamook City.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, well, I thank everyone for sticking with us today. We did go a little long, but we had some great conversation. It was wonderful to have both our senator and representative with us today. But I will go ahead and thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for attending, and adjourn this meeting at 9:06 a.m. Have a fabulous day.